Hello everyone, today we will be creating infinite scroll using React.js. How you can achieve it in a very simple way. I will show you step by step. First of all, what you have to do, open your IDE. In my case is Visual Studio Code, and as you can see, I already created React application. To do that, you need to npx create React app, and after that you can make a that, or if you want to create a new folder, you should create some kind of name of folder over here. Okay, then click enter, wait till the installation will be ready. Okay, without further ado, why I've got everything done already? Because the only thing that you will be provided will be that app.css file that we will be using later on inside our application. Okay, what we have to do first of all, we need to create our infinite scroll. So we will just go and create the folder. Our folder will call components. And inside that folder, we'll create infinite scroll. Okay, something like that. .js. And with that, we are ready to go and everything we've got done. Okay, I'm joking. That's only the beginning of our journey because we need to create our component, React component. So we need to import React and create our component and then export it over here. When we have that, we need to also import two things. Use state, that will be using our states management, and use effect, that we will be reloading our application in our cases. So import that, and we will need to go to our app.css file to make our styling import. When we got our styling imported and our states effects imported as well, we can create our application. So how we do that? How we start? First of all, we need to get some data and some pages, we can call it, to let us make the fetching data easier, because we will just simulate fetching data from API. We're not getting the real data as you can do, for example, from your API. We'll only simulate the data, and for that case, we'll need to have data and set data, and with that, we will use state with empty array. And of course, the second thing that we'll need is to page, because we'll make some kind of pagination over here, but it will be our infinite scroll beside the pagination. So use state, and it will be 1 as the beginning value. Also, we need to handle our errors. Error, and use state, we'll call it, for example, null. Okay, and right now we can start to fetch our data, and to that fetch data equals async, and we'll pass page. It will help us to create the new array of data, and we'll, of course, we'll be using array to make it happen. But first of all, we need to create try catch block, and inside that try catch block, we'll just create new items. It will be array from, and right now we'll create the array that length will be, for example, 10. And after that, we'll go through all our array for our array, and we'll need to create some kind of template string, for example, stylish item, and we'll make it happen like page -1 times 10 plus index plus 1. That's the only purpose that we're creating, to emulate some kind of API. Don't worry if you don't understand it, because probably you will be using the real data that you will be getting from the web browser or some kind of API. because for web browser, you can scratch that data. And then await new promise, and we'll make resolve and set timeout because we'll just create it, and our timeout will be 500, and we'll resolve new items. Over here, of course, I need to change that, and the last thing, set data, will be previous data, and we'll make previous data that we just make happen, and we'll assign a new data that we will create from new items. So right now we are assigning that set data to a new values that whenever we will load more values, it will not reassign but assign to the current values that we already have. And if there is an error, we'll set error to something went wrong. Okay, we've got our fetch data. Then we will need to have something more. So we need to use effect to know when we have to refetch our data in that case. So we'll make fetch data and page. And also we need as an argument page. Whenever it will be changed, the new data will be fired up. And that's the part when we create it only and get data from our, we can call it API. The next thing that we'll need to have is to handle scroll function, and that handle scroll function will allow us to handle our infinite scroll to work as it should. Of course, if there will be error, we'll not use our scroll, but whenever the error is not occur, we need to get few values from the document from JavaScript. And to let our infinite scroll work, we need 3 values. So scroll top, the next client height, and the last one client height, and the last one will be scroll height. And with that, we need to assign it to document, that document element. That's the all parameters that you've got inside the document, that document element, and we can make it happen. It's almost the same as you've got inside the document, but there we are going to find out only element by ID inside our index.js. So it's some kind of very easy way to understand from where we are getting that values. So we are getting them from the real vanilla JavaScript. And if scroll top plus client height, so that two things are bigger or equal to scroll height, for example, minus, can call it 5, we will set page. So we will call our use effect that will call fetch data, and we'll set it to the new value, and it will be previous page, and previous page plus 1, and with that we know that we will just assign a new page over here, so it will fire up our fetch data, and with that we know that we can fire up our handle scroll. But how to fire up our handle scroll? Whenever we will reload our application, we need also another use effect that will handle that option. So in our case, we will need the thing that's called the window. We need to go to inside the window parameter, and inside there we'll create the magic. So window that at event listener. So window will be our all web browser, and we need to fire up on scroll, and right there we'll handle scroll. And we will return whenever we fire up that event. We need to just remove that event from our event list. So event remove. And of course we'll remove scroll, and that handles scroll like that. And whenever it should reload, whenever it should fire up, whenever the data changes page or occurs some kind of error. Okay, so whenever everything will happen, we know that our handle scroll will work. So to know, first of all, we'll fire up our fetch data. Then our data will be fetched because we've got page 1 and everything will work and our data will be created. Whenever we will scroll and our handle scroll will be at the bottom of the page, we will fire up that effect to the end, and right there the previous page will be assigned as a new page. So from page 1 will be page 2. Then React will know, okay, use effect will be used and our page changes, so we'll reassign a new value over here, and our fetch data will be fired up because of that with a new value of pages. So it will be, for example, not from 1 to 10, but from 11 to 12, 20, and so on and so forth. Okay, right there we'll create some kind of, I don't know, return value that we'll working on later on. So class name equals infinite. Just let me copy it. Scroll container. I will just copy it for myself. I need you. Control C. And I will need command V over here. Of course, I don't need it over there. Right there, I will need another of this class name. It will be infinity scroll list. With that, it's simpler for me. And there we'll just go through all of the elements that our data will pass to us. And we'll just create item and index. Of course, I just got underscore over here, but you can also create some kind of like item, but I prefer to stay with that over here. Okay, right there we'll need to map through it and return. That's why we need normal brackets. Li key index class name equals infinite scroll item, and we'll pass item over there. If errors occur, we will just create div will be class name of error, and we'll close that div and we'll pass the error over here. So it will be our very simple error handler that we'll be able to maintain. Okay, with that, we'll just go to our app.js. We don't need our whole return over here. The only thing that we'll need, import infinite scroll from components infinite scroll, and only return to values. So first, div class name, we'll call it app, and over here, for example, h1 will be the class name of app header. Here will be infinite scroll, and over there we need to call our infinite scroll. Okay, right there we need to npm start, wait a few seconds. Whenever our server will be fire up, wait a few seconds, and we've got our stylish infinite scroll ready. Okay, as you can see, I've got 10 elements Right now I have 60 elements. Wait a few seconds, I got like 80 elements because I'm at the top, and so on. It will be also reloading, more data that we'll just get from our application. So that will be all for today's episode. If you have any questions, please leave the questions. If you like it, leave a like and subscription, and hope to see you at the next episodes. Have a good day. Bye.